Hello, well it's finally gotten cold in northern Illinois and we finally gotten some snow. So chili is the first thing that comes to my mind, not shoveling. So we're going to have chili tonight. Now this is Church Lady Sally's recipe. She's a friend from church, and when I had my second thumb surgery, she brought over some of her chili and it was delicious. So I'm going to make it for you today. Now when I was eating it, I said, Martin, this tastes like Wendy's chili. And so I asked her for the recipe, and she said, well, it's a copy of Wendy's chili, so you're going to get pretty close here. She has tweaked it a little bit, which I expect all good cooks to do, and Sally is a good cook. So what I have here, I have 3 medium peppers. These are bell peppers. I happen to have on hand orange, red, and yellow, so that's what I have diced up. I have a large onion, or 2 mediums, diced up. I have 4 stalks of celery diced. Are you catching the theme there? I have 2 pounds of ground meat. 1 pound is beef and 1 pound is deer burger. I don't like to use all my deer burger up at once, so I'll add a little bit of the regular burger too. I also have here a can of tomato sauce, 4 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of cumin, and 1 can of light kidney beans. Now I only have dark, and I will drain these before I put them in. But I may want 2 cans, I'm not sure. I really like beans. The other thing on the spices, spice it however you want, but you can always add more. So I go light at first, but that's her recipe is 4 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon. And I also have 2 quarts of her tomatoes. Sally is known to me as the tomato queen, and I didn't have a garden this summer, so she brought me over some tomatoes and some other things that, look at them, they're beautiful. So I'm going to use 2 of these quarts. It's a very easy recipe to put together. The big deal is cutting up the veggies, but let's get going. So I'm heating up my Dutch oven. I'm going to do everything in one pot, which is always nice when you have to do the dishes. Everything else is ready to go. Let me put my meat in, and that's the first act, is to brown it. I did put a little bit of grapeseed oil in there because, well, the venison has absolutely no fat. So I did that. Now I'm going to let this brown. Okay, this is browning nicely. I don't like to have it too hot when I'm browning. You get spattering. But I have to tell you, Sally with her famous tomato garden, she has her piece of land that she puts her tomatoes on covered with outdoor carpeting. Then she makes an X wherever she's going to put a plant and pulls it back. That's how she's raised her tomatoes for years. She never has to weed. I call it genius. There. That's getting nice. Let's let that continue. Alright, this is browned up nice. So now I'm going to add the veggies. Here go the 4 stalks of celery, the 1 large onion, and the 3 bell peppers. And I'm going to let these saute a little bit till they get a little bit softer. And once you get everything together, this only takes half an hour to cook. I'm going to probably leave it on the stove a little bit. I'm going to be here. I might have it on low, but it doesn't take long to make this chili. Let's let this continue. Okay, I did this for about 5 minutes. Really good. Now this is a Dutch oven that's about 6.5 quarts. I'm going to be putting in 2 quarts of tomatoes plus all this meat. We should be good, because now you're going to add everything else. And this is only going to, this is only going to take about 45 minutes. Now I'm going to let it simmer a little longer because I'm in the house. Here goes my spices and my tomato sauce. There. Now remember, you can always add more spices, but you can't take them out. There. Now, really, the congregation of the church I go to we're really kind of old. Anyway, at 72, I'm about the youngest. I'm going to bring this to a boil. And every woman there is a great cook. But then, I remember We never cooked from boxes or anything. We learned to cook, and our mothers cooked from scratch. So everything they make there, we have a potluck. Hoo-ha! We could charge $100 a plate, I bet. Very good food. Okay, I'm going to let this come to a boil. I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for 45 minutes. Now, I'm also going to, it's not quite supper time, but in a little bit I'm going to make some cornbread to go with this. This is what I use. It's, what do they call it? Bobs Red Mill, and I love the coarse ground cornmeal. But it's a much, well, it's much coarser than that fine cornmeal. So you might want to try to find that and give it a try. I couldn't find it during COVID, so I bought a whole bunch and froze it. It's in my freezer someplace. Okay, let's bring this to a boil. Then we'll let it simmer. Remember, 45 minutes is all it takes. By the way, I think I forgot to tell you, I drained and I rinsed my beans. Now I'm going to wait until a little later to see if I want to add more. You need to be watching at rummage sales, your thrift shops. 2 years ago I got this for $5 at a rummage sale. I don't think it was ever used. It's a beautiful Dutch oven. But there's a lot of people that they had intentions to cook from scratch during COVID, and they bought all this cookware, so be looking out for it at your nearby thrift shop or rummage sale. We're going to let this go for 45 minutes. Look at this beautiful batch of chili. And remember, it's a copycat Wendy's chili recipe from my pal Sally. It's really good. Now this is the point where as you serve it, you could add some more of the spices, cumin or the chili powder. You do it as you like. You could add more beans. But it is delicious, and I think nutritious, and very good for a cold day. In fact, Martin's sister Paula's coming over, and they're going to plan a trip out west, so this is a perfect time to do it, over chili. Now, I used my friend Sally's tomatoes, 2 quarts, so if you don't have that on hand, you don't have that luxury, go to the store and buy cans of tomatoes, stewed tomatoes. I don't know, I never buy them, I don't know what they look like, but there's cans of tomatoes out there. And I used 2 quarts, and I used the juice and all. Try this, it's really easy, and it's going to be so good on these cold days. Till next time, bye-bye.